Welcome back. Well, Facebook is betting on a new frontier, hoping that its foray into virtual reality under the new name Meta can turn the page on a series of scandals. But as Paula Newton reports, critics think some of the same problems plaguing the company now could get even worse.
In a corporate event that seemed to have the vibe of a budget sci-fi flick.
All right, perfect.
Mark Zuckerberg, the founder and head of all things Facebook, introduced the metaverse.
Together, we can finally put people at the center of our technology and deliver an experience where we are present with each other.
What is it? Put simply, an immersive way to connect online for both business and pleasure using virtual and augmented reality. And Zuckerberg is all in, rebranding Facebook's corporate name to Meta. It's from the Greek word beyond, he says.
Your devices won't be the focal point of your attention anymore.
Now, if Meta is the future, in the present, the Facebook brand on the site and the app won't change. What Zuckerberg is trying to pull off is more profound than that.
He is trying to take control of what he thinks is going to be the big next wave of technology. And the question is going to be whether the world accepts that, whether people, in spite of all of the controversy and stuff, in spite of all of the crises that have hit Facebook in the last month, are going to want to put their trust in Facebook.
Now,
despite accusations of a toxic business model and dangerous fallout to match, Zuckerberg's strategy of plowing ahead with ambitious market domination has worked.
Our mission remains the same.
And in rebranding, Zuckerberg has nothing substantive to say on how Facebook can become a safer social media space, especially for teenagers and young people.
I know that some people will say that this isn't a time to focus on the future. And I want to acknowledge that there are important issues to work on in the present. There always will be.
During my time at Facebook...
In recent months, former Facebook employees have provided evidence that Facebook was aware of its role in disseminating the misinformation that breeds and spreads on its social media platforms. In a statement, Zuckerberg said the documents released were cherry-picked to present a misleading narrative about the company.
There's a pattern of...
Frances Haugen says she fears the same problems will occur in Facebook's new metaverse.
I was shocked to hear recently that Facebook wants to double down on the metaverse, and that they're going to hire 10,000 engineers in Europe to work on the metaverse. I think there is a view inside the company that safety is a cost center. It's not a growth center, which I think is very short term in thinking.
What is not short term? The insidious effects of Facebook's social media platforms worldwide. Regulators have so far failed to create and enforce laws that prevent the worst abuses online, those powered by algorithms and AI, that can efficiently disperse misinformation and hate. To that, Zuckerberg has added a new challenge, the potentially even more invasive metaverse. Paula Newton, CNN.
Well, I want to get some perspective on this from someone who knows Facebook well. Will Guyard is a former employee of both Facebook and Instagram. He's a tech journalist joining us tonight from Wiltshire, England. Good to have you with us.
Good evening.
So Facebook has come under so much scrutiny lately, and now it's changed its name to Meta. Why now? What exactly is the metaverse? Is it something akin to the Matrix?
Well, yes, it is. The best way it's been described to me is somebody described it as the holodeck in Star Trek, if you're a nerd like me. The idea that you can have a virtual world. This is going to be people using virtual reality headsets and augmented reality glasses, spectacles like mine, but with computers built into them so you can get graphics overlaid over what you can see through your field of vision. It's an interesting timing for Facebook to rebrand as Meta. The cynic in me is that they're doing this to deflect from all of the issues they've got globally. This has got to be the trickiest time Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, or Meta, as I should now call them, have ever had. And this is a time for them to try and say, look, we want to move forward and look at what's next for the internet. The idea that the metaverse is going to be this big, new, exciting place with upside for investors, but also a chance for Meta to kind of show that they're not all about owning something. They keep talking about collaborating on this metaverse. They're investing money. They're saying to make it better for everybody, encouraging other companies to get involved. It may be that Mark Zuckerberg and the team at Meta have read the room and seen that globally now they're going to have issues with legislation in the US and in the UK and in Europe. Everybody's interested in looking at ways of governing social media, and I think this is this company's attempt to try and move on beyond it. I'm slightly disappointed though that it's being Mark Zuckerberg is dismissing the problems that the company currently faces as, you know, important things, but I've always got to look to the future. They're spending billions of dollars on this new metaverse project. They've already promised 10,000 new jobs in the EU. One can't help but wonder why they wouldn't spend that money on solving the problems, the misinformation, the bullying, all the kinds of problems that we hear about. That 10,000 jobs and those billions of dollars could actually help fix the problems that the service currently faces.
Yeah, you make a really good point there. And Mark Zuckerberg tried to explain the timing of all of this. Just for our viewers, I just want to play a little bit of sound.
With all the scrutiny and public debate, some of you might be wondering why we're doing this right now. The answer is that I believe that we're put on this earth to create. I believe that technology can make our lives better, and I believe that the future won't be built on its own. We live for what we're building, and while we make mistakes, we keep learning and building and moving forward.
It certainly seems to dismiss the so-called mistakes, which sound to be very substantial when you listen to the Facebook whistleblower. As a former Facebook employee, I'm wondering what you thought when you were listening to the Facebook whistleblower testify here in the US, testify in Britain. Were you surprised by what's come out, the internal documents we're now seeing?
Well, listen, one of the biggest challenges at the moment is this company is trying to make Mark Zuckerberg appear like an empathetic human in what was essentially a 90-minute soap opera episode yesterday. It was trying to bring the human side of him across. Now, there are issues with this company. There have always been issues about profit over people. Should the technology be improved, or should the money keep flowing in? That's kind of quite normal in any tech company of this size. Some of what I heard and some of what I've heard in these cases I knew existed. One of the biggest concerns for me is that some of this internal research and stuff that the company is now finding out about its own platforms, it appears to be intentionally burying. They would disagree with that and dispute that as their version of it. But it's concerning that, for example, Instagram is quoted as being considered a toxic environment for young people, yet at the same time, until very recently, Facebook Inc., now Meta, was pushing forward with trying to launch a version of Instagram for under 13s. This is a company that's clearly conflicted in many ways, and it doesn't appear to be being fixed. It's almost as though Mark Zuckerberg is now jingling his car keys and saying, don't look at the problem over here, focus over here at what we're doing in the future, in the hope that it all goes away.
Yeah, change the name, try and rebrand, and look to distract from the problems and significant problems that exist right now. We have to leave it there, I'm afraid. Will Guyot, good to have you with us. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.